In the last 50 years, Turkey has not seen such heavy snowfall. In the USA, extreme cold temperatures have been observed for the 8th time this winter. While in Russia, above the Arctic Circle, positive temperatures have been recorded. In the south, in Sochi, snow covered the palm trees and beaches. In Armenia, over 1,000 accidents occurred in one day due to bad weather. You will learn about these and other climatic anomalies that occurred from February 19th to February 25th in our review. USA.
Good afternoon from...
A powerful winter storm hit the United States for the 8th time this winter, paralyzing life in dozens of states. The snowfalls caused chaos on the roads and at airports. Around 4,000 flights were canceled across the country. On February 19th, nearly 32 centimeters of snow fell in Virginia Beach, Virginia. In Oswego County, New York, where over 180 centimeters of snow fell in some areas during the week, the roofs of 26 buildings collapsed under the weight of the snowdrifts. Arctic cold and snowfalls caused more than 1,500 accidents and the deaths of 4 people. Authorities urged the population to stay indoors as extreme cold settled over most of the country. On February 19th, a new historical minimum was recorded in South Dakota, nearly minus 39 degrees Celsius, while in North Dakota the temperature dropped to minus 42 degrees. In Detroit, Michigan, cars froze into the ice after a massive water main break. Russia. Temperature anomalies in Russia continue to surprise specialists. In the Kola Peninsula, above the Arctic Circle, in some areas, the temperature during the day rose to plus 5 degrees Celsius, and there were no frosts even at night. This winter in Murmansk has been not only unusually warm but also record-breaking in terms of snowfall. The amount of precipitation reached its highest level in the last 90 years. On February 24th, sharp temperature fluctuations were observed in the Ural region. The most significant temperature fluctuation of 28.4 degrees Celsius in just 12 hours was recorded in the city of Ivdel, Sverdlovsk region. This became a serious challenge for the local residents. At night, the temperature in the city was minus 26 degrees Celsius, while during the day it rose to plus 2.4 degrees Celsius. Abnormal cold weather, accompanied by heavy snowfall, settled in the south of the country. The end of February in Kabardino-Balkaria became the coldest on record in the history of observations in this region. In the mountainous areas, the temperature dropped to minus 30 degrees Celsius. In Mineralnie Vody, Stavropol Krai, on February 21st, the temperature at night was minus 12 degrees Celsius, but by the following night, the temperature dropped to nearly minus 25 degrees. In Krasnodar, Novorossiysk, and other cities and regions of Kuban, water bodies froze and pressure ridges formed. In some areas, sea ice was pushed onto the streets. The Azov coast was covered with a thick layer of ice due to strong winds and low temperatures. Meteorological stations at the mountain resorts of Kuban recorded a record amount of precipitation. In Sochi, snow fell not only in the mountain areas, where snowdrifts reached 3 meters, but also on the coastline. Green lawns, palm trees, and flowers were covered by a thick layer of snow, which is an extremely rare phenomenon for this region. Icy conditions turned the challenging terrain of Sochi's roads into a real testing ground. Buses didn't drive, they slid, and in some areas the only way to reach them was on foot. Turkey. Turkey experienced an abnormal snowfall, the heaviest in the last 50 years, accompanied by a sharp drop in temperature. In Istanbul, a transportation collapse occurred, with trucks unable to drive uphill, and at least 139 traffic accidents took place. Ship traffic through the Bosphorus was completely halted. Due to the bad weather, thousands of tourists, including transit passengers, were stranded in airports around the world. In some areas, up to 48 centimeters of snow fell overnight, and in the mountains, snowdrifts reached 1 meter, cutting off villages from the outside world. By the end of the week, Arctic cold had reached Cyprus, Lebanon, and Israel. Armenia. On February 20th, Armenia faced heavy snowfall, which led to a transportation collapse. Over the course of a single day, more than 1,000 traffic accidents were registered across the country. In the area of Mount Aragats, the snow cover reached a height of 120 centimeters. The mayor of Yerevan addressed the residents of the capital, urging them to avoid leaving their homes unless absolutely necessary. Classes were cancelled in educational institutions, including schools and universities. Cold Arctic air also hit the eastern Mediterranean. Georgia. Similar adverse weather conditions were observed in neighboring Georgia. Due to heavy snowfall in the western part of the country, train services were cancelled. In the area of the Gudari ski resort, snow almost completely covered the cars. In Kakheti, public transportation was suspended, and in Poti, around 6,000 consumers were left without electricity. Thanks to the warm climate, Batumi, where the average maximum temperature remains around plus 10 degrees Celsius, even in the winter months, homes are not equipped with heating systems. This time, however, the city faced a sharp, cold snap, and such heavy snowfall that municipal services were forced to carry out snow removal around the clock. Greece. In the northern regions of Greece, the temperature dropped below minus 10 degrees Celsius. The frost completely froze the Polypotamous waterfall, located near Florina, which surprised even the locals who are accustomed to the cold. On roads, the flowers were covered with ice due to the cold. The storm was accompanied by heavy snowfall, which even reached Attica. On the island of Evia, snow covered the mountain villages, and local authorities had to use special equipment to clear the roads. Iran. Heavy snowfall and a sharp drop in temperature, affecting 25 out of 31 provinces of Iran, exacerbated the energy crisis in the country. In Tehran, the capital, all schools, universities, and government institutions, except for medical and service departments, were forcibly closed due to constant power and gas outages. Iraq. In the Iraqi province of Anbar, residents of several cities witnessed a rare phenomenon for these areas, an anomalous snowfall accompanied by a sharp drop in temperature. In the northern part of the Kirkuk province, so much snow fell that, according to local residents, it had not happened in several decades. In some provinces, classes were cancelled in schools, and working hours in government institutions were shortened due to the bad weather. China. On February 20th, a powerful avalanche occurred on Mount Meili Shuishan in the Chinese province of Yunnan, triggered by prolonged snowfall. Tourists caught in the path of the avalanche were able to take shelter in wooden structures. Fortunately, no one was injured, and there was no damage. Along with the incident information, an important reminder was shared in the news. Stay calm and don't stop to observe. Although this seems obvious, people's behavior during natural disasters raises many questions. Why do people risk their lives, and sometimes the lives of their children, for a beautiful shot near lava, or for the thrill of the moment? Where does the instinct of self-preservation go for those who film an avalanche or landslide instead of running away? Why do people save belongings during an earthquake, but not themselves? Even in situations where there is no immediate threat, such as during a heavy snowfall, when staying home would be safer, some people rush to the store, only to later need to be rescued from a snow trap, if they are lucky enough to be reached in time. Looking at what is happening on Earth, we repeatedly ask ourselves, why do people no longer consider life to be the highest and irreplaceable value? Essentially, the main crisis in our society, aside from the climate, economic, and other crises, is the crisis of the value of life. Remember the words of those who were on the brink of death. The most important thing is that I'm alive and my loved ones are with me. When we understand how precious our own life is, we begin to value the lives of others as well. The climate gives us a chance to finally realize what truly matters. The world is changing rapidly. Now we face a challenge that not only affects our future, but the very existence of humanity. Yes, there are many unknowns in this challenge, but it is solvable. Life is worth fighting for.